a tucked away little corner of a niche within the internet, dinosaur games are rather few and far between. But this doesn't mean that there aren't some quality games. If you're a prehistoric enthusiast, much like me, you may have come across the Isle at some point. You may have seen a video or two about it, browsed the Steam store, and then wondered, is this game actually worth buying? And of course, more importantly, is it worth your time? But before we can get into that directly, we first have to talk about what the Isle exactly is as a game and the type of people that this game is exactly catering to. The Isle, as a game by definition, is an online, hardcore creature simulator with survival elements. To break it down even simpler, the Isle is functionally a sandbox. The term sandbox for this context essentially means there are no predetermined linear structures to guide the player. So in this case, it's very much reliant on other players to drive the ecosystem. In terms of gameplay, after you've chosen your server to join, you are taken straight to the character menu, where you can select between 3 options: herbivore, carnivore, and omnivore. You select what you want to play, make your skin, spawn in, and are immediately thrown into the environment. From there, your aim is to survive a myriad of challenges, which vary from starvation and dehydration to being preyed upon by others. Death is an extremely prevalent occurrence, and a natural part of the game loop. Aside from a few pop-up hints on your HUD, you are told absolutely nothing about how to play and are expected to figure out everything for yourself. You probably immediately realized, just from me saying that the lack of a tutorial is a detrimental flaw. And you'd be right. Kind of. The tone this game sets out to create from the get-go is one full of brutality and mysticism. Survival is a difficult endeavor, and it wants to allude to the survival of the fittest atmosphere, and of course living that prehistoric fantasy. However, the game would severely benefit from giving new players a basic tutorial about the controls, what to be looking out for, and of course what all of the HUD elements mean. On the other side of the coin, a tutorial may also interfere with the core learning through doing aspects of the game, which is likely a huge selling point of the game's originality. But a tutorial doesn't necessarily need to give away absolutely everything in the beginning either. If you're crazy about game lore, the secrecy of the game mechanics in itself could be even more intriguing for that feeling of discovery. The Isle, as of right now, is definitely not catering to the players who want structured guidance every step of the way. It is a very heavy time sink, especially in the beginning, where you are initially learning how to navigate the HUD, work out the controls, and generally survive. It can take a lot of time, patience, and practice. If you're also not very patient and you value your time above anything else, then this game apprehensively is not for you. If you're still interested in playing it despite this, you may still get your enjoyment from something that doesn't require a ton of commitment. On the complete opposite, if you're willing to put a lot of time into the game, it's extremely important to remember the larger the playable, the more time it will take. As a new player, you may be buying into the idea of rushing in and immediately hopping into a server to start playing a Rex, for example. This in itself is a dangerous motivation killer and may negatively impact your experience. But I digress, this is a topic for another video. Prior to the most recent update, a lot of players were a lot less active and prioritized hanging around in hotspots across the map, which made it difficult to find unique encounters. With the introduction of the new Elder system, this has forced people to roam and wander a lot more. As a bonus, the addition of Rex has given the game a scary ambience, which is definitely something I missed from the days of Legacy. In my opinion, there has never been a better opportunity than now to start playing the game, even for simply the reasons that I have just mentioned. As for the endgame, in recent months, it has felt like the game has ignited a new sense of identity with the introduction of an actual gameplay loop in mind, reaching Prime Elder. As a long-term player, this was almost a revelation, especially since the game has not had any real objectives up until now. Opinions regarding the update are currently mixed, and rightfully so. as there are valid positives and negatives about the update's implementation compared to the concept. The Elder system as a concept is a great way to include a true gameplay loop. You start as a juvenile, survive to adulthood with an active lifestyle, you thrive, which then you survive to an elder, where you are either exponentially stronger or weaker depending on your quality of life. You are then able to choose whether or not to begin anew as a more powerful successor with inherited traits, or continue living your elder life until you die in some other fashion. In actuality, the elder system is essentially prime elder or die. Let me explain what this means. A prime elder is a stronger version of an adult with a much less punishing stat drop-off near the end of your growth cycle. A frail elder is a much weaker version of your adult state and has a much more punishing stat drop-off. The prime or die mentality isn't necessarily the root of the problem. I absolutely agree with rewarding players who are actively engaging with the game. The problem is that the requirements needed for reaching prime elder are completely hidden and are often inconsistent to achieve. Unfortunately, even if you're actively playing as intended, you may still be punished by becoming a frail elder. Understandably so, this has created feelings of frustration around the community. In spite of that, I understand from a developer's perspective that the intention behind the lack of transparency of the prime elder conditions is to prevent metagaming, which is marginally a good thing for more casual players, and preventing large megaherds or mixed packs from dominating servers. In the end, prime elder or frail elder doesn't particularly matter too much for any desired progression from the mutation system, as you will still be able to inherit up to 3 traits into your next life. As a quick summary of what this means, mutations are perks you can choose throughout your life to boost the stats of your dinosaur. You can choose up to 4 mutations, 1 for each growth milestone, and these can be personalized to your playstyle. Only prime elders are able to choose the 4th slot, so if you aren't a prime elder, you'll be stuck with only 3 mutations. I do apologize for this section being a little bit more advanced and technical, but I think it's important to disclose these particular mechanics, as they are a make or break for a lot of people at the moment, which could influence your decision on playing the game. Finally, is the game worth buying right now? Despite the issues of the aforementioned, I'm a long-term and avid player of the Isle, and I likely will for the foreseeable future. I definitely want to see the game thrive, and will continue to watch it evolve over time. Right now, there has never been a better time to get started. It definitely has its flaws and series of problems, but being able to not take the game too seriously and simply enjoying it for what it is can feel like a rewarding experience. In simple terms, yes, the game has never been more worth it than it is now. It's important not to go in with terribly high expectations, as there are still a lot of bugs, glitches, and performance issues, but I have noticed improved stability, which has fueled my enjoyment a lot more recently. Of course, if by now you've decided you definitely want to purchase the game, please double check the system requirements. Nothing is worse than buying a game that your machine can't handle just to refund it later. It's better to be safe than sorry. Just double check them. As a reference, or just for fun or comparison, I have put my own PC specs on screen right now, so if you're a little bit unsure whether or not your PC can actually handle the game, use mine as reference. You can see what my specs are. My game runs on max settings at about 60 to 100 frames, and that is after the performance upgrade from the recent patch. So if you played previously and it didn't really work that well, try again, because this patch actually gave me a lot of stability in terms of performance. Use it as a guideline. Quick chip in from Editing Zoe. The Isle is currently only on Steam, so if you're looking to play the game on console, I am really sorry, but the game currently is not on console, and there has been absolutely no confirmation from the devs whether or not we will get a console port, so just hang tight for now, and hopefully in the future we'll see a console version of the Isle, but at the moment it is PC only. On that note, Please check out my beginner's Q&A video to be better prepared for your first play session. I have answered 10 questions in that video, which could be helpful just for you to get started. I also have specific dinosaur showcases if you'd like to see those as well. They include the general mechanics for pretty much all of the playables, so go check that out if you're interested just in one specific animal. If you made it this far, thank you, and if you like my style, please consider clicking the like and the subscribe for more IELTS related content. Until next time.